Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to Tatiana's Tiny Zoo. I'm Tatiana, and today we're going to be diving into the world of garter snakes. These often overlooked reptiles are full of personality, and they might just be the perfect pet for you. By the end of this video, you'll know everything you need to decide if a garter snake belongs in your life. Let's get started. Garter snake is the common name for small to medium-sized terrestrial snakes in the genus Thamnophis. There are over 30 different species in the garter snake family. Native to North and Central America, garter snakes can be found in all of the lower 48 United States and all of the Canadian provinces. Their range even extends down to Mexico, Guatemala, and Costa Rica. From forests to grasslands, wetlands to backyards, these adaptable snakes are everywhere. Garter snakes almost always live near bodies of water and are known as very good swimmers. This even reflects in the fact that toads and amphibians make up a large portion of a garter snake's diet. But don't worry, we'll talk about feeding a little bit later. With so many different species and subspecies, garter snakes are highly variable in appearance, but generally they have large, round eyes, round pupils, a slender build, and a striped pattern. Certain subspecies have incredible coloration, including blues, yellows, reds, or oranges. The different species also vary significantly in length, ranging anywhere from 18 to 51 inches. These snakes are a great size for beginner reptile keepers. They're fairly hardy, and they can even be housed in groups. And with good quality care, you can expect your garter snakes to live anywhere from 10 to 20 years. Just remember, some garter snake species are federally protected, so always check your local laws before adopting one. Garters are active snakes that love to explore, so while they might seem small compared to other snake species, they still need plenty of room to move around. Based on which subspecies you have and how big they get, your enclosure size might vary. You can use this formula for calculating a snake's minimum space needs. But bigger is always better, and your snakes will definitely use every inch of space that you give them. My two garter snakes are in enclosures that are 36 inches long and 18 inches deep. And if you want to see how I built their enclosures, you can check out this video here. Whatever enclosure you end up choosing, make sure it is extremely escape-proof. These are small and flexible snakes that love to push boundaries and weasel their way into small spaces. Essentially, they are professional escape artists, and that should be kept in mind when designing their enclosure. While most snakes definitely prefer to be housed alone, the garter snake might be an exception to this rule. Many studies have shed light on the social behaviors of garter snakes, suggesting that these animals form social groups and communities with anywhere from 3 to 4 individuals, and some groups as large as 50 individuals. More inhabitants means more enclosure space will be required, so please keep that in mind if you plan on cohabitating these animals. Garter snakes that are housed in groups should be similar in size to one another to prevent cannibalism. Also, keep in mind the sex of any garter snakes that are housed together. These guys do not lay eggs. Instead, they give birth to live young, and if you keep a male and female together, you will eventually be surprised with a lot of babies. Garter snakes are cold-blooded, which means that to regulate their body temperature, they need to move between areas of hot and cold temperatures. To have a healthy and happy snake, you need to offer various temperature gradients throughout your enclosure. The basking area should stay between 85 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and the cool side of their enclosure should stay between 70 and 80 degrees. Heat sources should be turned off at night, with a nighttime temperature drop to between 64 and 75 degrees. Please note, specific basking temperatures may vary based on which species of garter or ribbon snake you are keeping, and you should always look up the average temperatures of their native range. Generally speaking, a low wattage halogen bulb, ceramic heat emitter, or a deep heat projector should give you adequate basking temperatures. Garter snakes are very active during the daytime, which means that providing bright lighting is essential to see their natural behaviors. An Arcadia Jungle Dawn is the perfect light to illuminate your enclosure, and it will keep any live plants you have healthy and thriving. As a good rule of thumb, lights should be on for 14 hours per day in the summer and 10 hours per day in the winter. UVB lighting is also strongly encouraged to keep your garter snakes healthy. Garters need a UV index of 2.0 to 3.0 in the basking area, and will do best with a UVB lamp between 10 to 14 inches above their basking zone. For both of my garter snakes, I use the Arcadia T5 Forest 6% UVB bulb, but there are lots of other options that are available for you to pick from. While specific optimal humidity levels may vary based on which subspecies you are keeping, garter snakes generally need an average humidity of 30 to 60%, with the cool side being more humid than the warmer side. Moistened sphagnum moss inside your cool hide can create a humid area for your snakes. For my pets, I maintain their humidity levels by offering a thick substrate layer and covering that substrate with leaf litter, because the leaves will help hold humidity down in the soil. Now let's talk about what goes inside your garter snake enclosure. Garter snakes are happiest when they are housed on some kind of substrate or bedding that helps to imitate their natural habitat. Personally, I use a DIY mix of topsoil, play sand, eco-earth, sphagnum moss, and a couple other additions for all of my bioactive enclosures. These snakes have very fast metabolisms. They eat a lot, and also they poop a lot. For me, that means that going bioactive saves time, because I don't have to be cleaning their enclosures all the time. Their cleanup crew will do it for me. If you don't want to go bioactive, a good mix of repti-soil, eco-earth, or pre-made substrates would work well for these guys. Feces and urates should be removed regularly by scooping out contaminated substrate, and the substrate should be replaced completely a few times a year. As far as how to set up your enclosure, it's a good idea to have a lot of different hiding opportunities for your snakes. These are active and curious animals that will gladly explore every inch of their environment. Providing different areas to explore will encourage exercise and stimulate natural behaviors from your pet. You can use anything from cork to tile, driftwood to fake or live plants, and more. At the bare minimum, your snakes need a cold hide, a humid hide, and a warm hide, as well as a basking spot. Offering all of these will ensure your reptiles can thermoregulate properly. Decorating is my favorite part of setting up a new enclosure, so be creative and have fun with your design. Garter snakes are strictly carnivores, which means if you're a little bit squeamish about feeding whole animals to your pets, this might not be the animal for you. They also eat a huge variety of different prey in the wild, so you can get creative with what you offer them. Wild garter snakes are known to eat earthworms, leeches, fish, amphibians, small mammals, and even young birds. The key to providing a healthy, balanced diet for your pet is variety. Pinky mice, quail, earthworms, and reptilinks are all great staples for your pet. On occasion, I'll even give them small pieces of raw, unseasoned chicken breast, or raw salmon, and even more. Newborn garter snakes should eat every other day. Juveniles every 3 to 5 days, and adult snakes should eat every 5 to 7 days. The size of your snake's prey should be no more than 1.5 times the width of your snake, or up to 10% of its body weight. Small prey like worms and fish should be offered multiple at a time. The garter snake is much more active during handling than many other snake species, so be prepared to keep a close eye on them if you have them out for handling time. These are not the type of snake that will sit in your lap for hours at a time, like a ball python, and they could easily slip away from small children or even adults that are not paying attention. They are extremely curious about their surroundings and always looking for their next snack. One thing to know is that garter snakes are rear fang venomous, which means their back teeth have a tiny bit of venom that they use to paralyze their prey. Their venom is not medically significant, which means reactions should be similar to a bee sting. That being said, they are not a defensive snake, and they prefer to run and hide when they're scared instead of trying to bite. In fact, instead of biting when they're scared, most wild garter snakes will do something called musking. Musking is when a snake sprays or wipes a smelly substance to discourage predators from eating them, kinda like a skunk. My pet garter snakes have never done this to me, but it is not very pleasant if it does happen, so I like to warn people about the possibility because it smells terrible. And that is pretty much all you need to know about keeping garter snakes as pets. These quirky and colorful snakes are full of surprises, and in my opinion, they are one of the most underrated snakes out there. I hope you found this care guide helpful, and as always, I will include links to other care guides as well as a list of all of the products I use in this video in the description box below. If you want to keep up with Soba and Udon, you should check out my Instagram or my TikTok. I post a lot of behind the scenes content there. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.